Kickoff with Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle. The show that's all Patriots, all football, all year long. The clutch wins, the tough losses, and the game-changing plays. This is the show that has it all covered. Sunday Kickoff, brought to you in part by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. Now, here are Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle.
Welcome into Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, a Week 17 edition. December 28th, 2025, the final one of the 2025 calendar. Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin behind the glasses. The Patriots, or what's left of them at this point, get ready to take on the New York Jets. We'll have more on that. Doug Kai joins us later in the hour to break down the game. We'll take a look around the NFL and the Patriots playoff outlook as well. Good morning, Cerrone. A belated Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you, man, and good morning. It should be
more Sunday.
A fun, interesting day of football. I would love to see what version of the Patriots show up this afternoon, but it should be interesting to see.
Well, so just to get people caught up, if you've missed it, and I said it there in the headlines, I probably should have given the players, but I didn't know if I should list off all 7 players the Patriots will be without. That list: Kayshon Boutte, Mac Hollins, Jared Wilson, Kairos Tonga, Harold Landry, Robert Spillane. Milton Williams was ruled out. He was on IR. He could have been activated. He wasn't. That's not somebody I guess you're missing off the 53. On top of that, Demario Douglas and Charles Woods are questionable. So that's a lot of starters or key players or whatever. They're going to be very short-handed in this one. Now, some of those guys, look, Jared Wilson, Kayshon Boutte, they're in concussion protocol, right? They're not playing. That's its own concrete thing. Robert Spillane has missed some time now. Milton Williams' return to practice, it sounded like during the week he was maybe encouraged he could play. How much of this do you think is the Patriots have a real bad injury problem going into the playoffs, and how much of this is they don't really fear the Jets, they believe they can win with what they have, and they're trying to rest guys up before the postseason?
I mean, the serious injuries, of course, like Spillane's been out. Milton Williams, I think, is more of a load management situation, like an NBA type of situation, where it's like, we're going to keep you out a little longer, make sure you're fully 100%. Of course, the guys with concussions, it's a league thing. You got to sit out if you can't get out of protocol. But I think half of it is load management. It's the Jets end of the season. They're not really trying to win a ton of games right at this point, and they're trying to see what they have. They got a third-string quarterback going out there, so some of it's that. But then you have Matt Collins going on IR. I think that's kind of significant. I think he's important to the offense. And you had the guy Will Campbell's already out. Some of those are serious ones, but I think a good portion of this is some load managing going on. Like let's it's the Jets and we got the Dolphins at the end. Both teams kind of struggling to close it out. I think they feel they can get by, but they're just trying to get healthy to get into the postseason, and they think they can still win these 2 games with what they have. They still have their quarterback. They still have their Pro Bowl, corner out there. Their defense is mostly intact, but except for the guys up front. But I think they feel they can win. They're good enough to beat the Jets and beat the Dolphins next week.
And they should still be good enough without those guys. I will say on Mac Hollins, and you kind of mentioned it there, big loss.
Yeah, and that's important.
It's funny. You rewind to the spring. That was one of the more not controversial signings, but I don't think people loved that signing. And look, it takes on a whole different context when you add the fact they signed Stephon Diggs, which they obviously hadn't done. They wouldn't do for a few more weeks at the time they signed Mac Hollins, but was flirting with career highs in catches and yards, 46 catches, 550 yards, 2 touchdowns this year. Also played more snaps than any receiver on the roster, 68%. Kayshon Boutte was tracking that way. He obviously missed some time with injury earlier in the year, but Mac Hollins ended up being a good, reliable player for them. And one of Drake May's more trusted targets, a guy that Drake May would go to and got to have at situations. Also, really the only wide receiver they have with size at 6'4", 221, and he's used that size, and Drake May has used that size effectively at times in games. So he's a tough loss, and this now becomes one of the biggest storylines of the day to me is somebody else is going to have to step up, and they only have 3 healthy receivers for this game. It's Steph Diggs and then the 2 rookies, Kai Williams and Efton Chisholm. Pop Douglas is questionable with the hamstring. The fact they didn't elevate any wide receiver off the practice squad makes me think Pop Douglas is going to be good to go. But, like, where's Drake May's chemistry at with Kai Williams? Because Kai Williams, we talked about it coming away from that Ravens game, or I talked about it a lot. I really liked what he was doing and making the most of his opportunities in a limited role. That role's not going to be limited now.
Yeah.
So what is that going to look like? Efton Chisholm, we've seen him play. I think he's played a handful of offensive snaps this year. So where's he going to be at? The other guy I look at, I mentioned the size thing, Austin Hooper. They were using Mac Hollins as a de facto tight end at times. And what do they just go more 12 and use Austin Hooper more in that role? So a lot of different guys are going to have to step up without Mac Hollins.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for this team, but it's also a situation where they can evaluate what they have. Not looking forward next season or anything like that, but all right, let's see what we have here. Let's see if there's something else that we can put out on the field, or that situation that could come up in the postseason or something like that. But it's time to see what the younger guys can really do in this situation. It's almost, I'm going to say, for them, it's almost like a preseason opportunity. But for this team, of course, they're looking well beyond that. The team is trying to figure out what kind of depth they have. This is an opportunity to see that against this Jets team, this Jets defense. And look, if Efton Chisholm gives you something similar role to a Pop Douglas, you have a little more depth. If Kyle Williams continues to grow into his role, I know he doesn't have the size of Mac Hollins. You mentioned that. And, Hollins, he was making a lot of catches over the middle, really high. Yeah. Great hands catches.
That 3rd and 13 one last week.
Yes. You're not going to have that. But what you will gain is probably the speed, because Kyle Williams is a burner. We all know that. But getting in a rhythm with him and Efton Chisholm, I don't think it can hurt you going into the postseason. And if Matt Collins' injuries is way more significant, you're going to be relying on these guys a lot more than we would have thought at this point in the season. But I think you mentioned Austin Hooper. I think he's going to be a big factor in how they close things out. I think him and Drake May had decent chemistry even before the rise of Matt Collins and Stephon Diggs. I think he was a trusted target for Drake May, and I think it's going to go back to that. And, I know we're going to get into it in a little bit. It's all in the running game. I think the next 2 weeks, I think they're going to run the ball a ton and get out of here and protect their quarterback. Like, we're not going to drop him back 45 times the next 2 weeks. We're going to protect him as best we can to get him into the postseason healthy and see how it goes after that. But I think look for Austin Hooper and Kyle Williams to have a big day along with the ground game.
Hopefully no Steven Jackson type games here as they try to lean on that run game.
No, we don't want no
down the stretch. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they break it down. I will just add, because I know some people were curious about this. Mac Hollins, in theory, so the IR rule is the same. You have to miss 4 games. It's games, not weeks. They probably should change that for the playoffs, because you're kind of, I don't want to say you're penalized for getting the bye, but that should count. I sort of understand why during the regular season the bye doesn't count. I think that's less impactful now than back when it was 6 weeks on IR instead of 4. But they should change that in the playoffs. But anyways, it's so Mac Hollins will have to miss these 2 games, then he'd have to miss 2 playoff games. So assuming the Patriots don't get the bye, he would be eligible to return for if they make it, the AFC Championship. If they do get the bye, he'd be eligible to return in the Super Bowl. But that's also assuming he's healthy enough to return, which we don't know a ton about this injury. I'm going to guess if they thought there was a chance he could play in the playoffs, they wouldn't put him on IR, right? Because you're not necessarily going to do that this time of year and risk missing playoff games. So that is something there to keep an eye on. Anybody you're looking at defensively? So not as many injuries on the defense. Kyrus Tonga's out. The reporting during the week is that it's a 1 to 2 week foot injury for Kyrus Tonga. So that puts him in line to return in the playoffs, but obviously probably means his regular season is over. Harold Landry's out. I feel like we've been doing this dance for the last, really like 2 months, right? With Harold Landry, where he kind of misses some practice during the week. Will he, won't he play? He's been battling through that knee injury, but maybe a chance to go this week, or maybe a chance to get some rest this week, maybe not wanting to risk it on that MetLife Stadium turf. Any of the young guys you're looking to step up front? Jeremiah Farms gets added to the roster. He gets Mac Hollins' spot, so he could be a player to watch. maybe some more Elijah Ponder. Anybody on defense you're looking at?
You mentioned those two guys, Farms and Ponder. I think I would love to see them against the previous version of the Jets team was a heavy run team because Justin Fields was running the ball as well as Breece Hall. But I don't know how they're going to attack it now with this quarterback, but I want to see this defense, what they do against the run. This is a good team to, I would say, practice and prepare for a heavy run situation in the postseason. Like the Jets team's going to run the ball. I think they're going to run the ball and try and get out of there, but I want to see what they do to handle this ground game. I want to see the front seven. The secondary, I'm really not worried about too much. I want to see this front seven, see what they do against Breece Hall, and see if the trend continues where these good running backs are gashing them for 5-6 yards a carry, and see if they can limit that and see who steps up in that situation. Again, just like the offense. See if you can find some money here. One of these guys that you activate all of a sudden looks like a fresh, dominant player at times. See what you can get out of these D tackles or whatever you can, and go forward. I mean, these guys, they haven't played a ton of football, haven't taken a ton of hits. So I think just being fresh will be decent enough to help with this run game and late in the season and get you ready for the playoffs.
617-779-0985 if you want to join us here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, as you alluded to earlier, sir. On the Patriots did get some good injury news as well. Travion Henderson cleared concussion protocol. According to Adam Schefter, he's expected to play in this game. How much will the Patriots lean on Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson? Something that might be of interest to, especially to some people, as they go to a fantasy championship. Don't know if we're going to get that Derrick Henry performance, but we'll discuss the Patriots run game next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
Henderson. The Bills haven't defended well. He tries to bounce it back left. He sprints across the 40. Near side 45-50. 45-40. 2 men to beat. 25-20. 50-10. Touchdown. Patriots.
You've got to be kidding me.
And like that, New England has the lead.
I'm sitting here getting a rip them because they went tossed right into the mass of the defense. It's a bad call. The rookie kicks it backside, and your quarterback recognizes it, and he busts his ass to get out in front of the speed guy because he's got wheels, and he blocks 2 guys. You're witnessing something that is really starting to come together for this team.
For the Patriots was initially listed as questionable. He was in concussion protocol during the week, but he was able to return to practice. It's not like concussion protocol, for those who don't know, there's like strict checkpoints you have to hit as you go through once you're put in the protocol by the league. There's an independent neuro analyst or whatever the term is. So it's not, usually players miss a week if not doing concussion protocol, but Travion Henderson's going to be back. So the Patriots will have all their running backs healthy. Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson, and then to Ernest Johnson. They did not elevate anybody from the practice squad. They did sign Elijah Mitchell during the week. I kind of would have liked to see him. I actually think he's a decent, potentially Antonio Gibson replacement, but maybe it's too late in the year to fully get him going in that way. But with everybody else out, with their injuries in the passing game, Cerrone, this could be a big day for the Patriots to lean on the running backs.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it was the last time they played the Jets. Didn't Travion Henderson have like 3 touchdowns or something like that? Something crazy. I think he had 2 in the air.
Yeah,
and 1
that
on
was
the
the
ground
game he caught one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Stevenson, I think was banged up at the time, but I think this is a good team to, I would say, get right, a good team to run the ball on. They're 28th in yards allowed on the ground, giving up 4.5 yards a carry. I think you can run the ball, burn clock, get this game over with around in less than 3 hours. With good short game, burn the clock, and get out of there healthy. Can't have any more injuries, but I think they can run the ball against this team. I think they will. I think it's going to be a lot of heavy two tight end sets. You're not going to have Tonga out there blocking on those short yardage situations, something that we all love. But I think they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to be very successful on the ground today. The one guy I think you're not going to see run the ball is Drake May. I think he's kind of going to be in bubble wrap the last 2 weeks, but
yeah,
I can see them heavy. Not so much heavy with Henderson, but I think Stevenson gets a lot of carries. I think he takes a good beating today and get a lot of sleep tomorrow. But I think Stevenson gets a lot of carries today. Not like what Henry did yesterday, which is pretty spectacular, but I think they get a lot of carries. I'm looking at maybe 35 carries for them today, maybe more than that. I think they really run the ball and kill clock and get this thing over with.
They wrap it up early so we can all go watch that Bills-Eagles game, right?
Yeah, get it over with.
You mentioned no Tonga at fullback. The other update we got yesterday with the Travion Henderson update, Jack Westover is questionable with an illness that was added, a late addition to the injury report. So he can't go. Now, no fullback, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we see CJ Dupree back there, but I don't know how much he's done that. But I'm with you. This is a big game to run the ball. I've been saying this for months, Cerrone. Like the way they can use the backfield and split up Henderson and Stevenson, and maybe a chance to finally see that for the Patriots and see both of those guys rotate. And Henderson, I have a stat line from the last time against the Jets right here. 19 carries, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also caught 5 passes for 31 yards and a touchdown. But he didn't have a run longer than 9 yards in that game. So that was one of those games where he actually was kind of better at, we've talked about this, he hits the big runs, and then he sort of struggles when he's not having the big run to create anything. He did do it in that game. I would like to see them run the ball. When it comes to Drake May running the ball, that more to me was about, hey, just show it. Just show it so the defense has to be honest, and that should open up other opportunities. I'm not saying never go back to it, but I think they've shown it enough that they shouldn't need it in this game. You should try to... They should be able to get in with the backs in this game without having to go to that.
Did you, real quick, you mentioned you break it down the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Missouri Virginia game?
I watched parts of it. I was honestly locked in. I thought that was going to be my main game, and then that Ravens-Packers game was just outstanding.
Man, Missouri's down 6, driving. They 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
They get inside the 20, chance for the final play. The quarterback gets tackled and he bangs his head off the ground. And out of frustration, he lays there like, dag, I missed that throw. The ref said they took him out because they thought he had a concussion. And then they had to bring in a walk-on who hadn't played all season for the final pass of the game and ended up losing. Unbelievable.
Great day at college football yesterday, too, to your point. I mean, you had that game. The Pop-Tart Bowl was fantastic. Georgia Tech and BYU. But, yeah, it's a little different in college. It can be a little complicated. And
the spotter just said take him out. And it was like, wow.
Right. Well, remember the one earlier this year with Drake May where so they have the spotters in-game. There's the in-game concussion protocol, and then there's the return to play protocol. So the in-game protocol, there's certain reactions that the spotters are trained to look for when it comes to concussions. The one everybody knows, the fencing reaction, right, when the hands start twitching, is one of them. But another one is that quick head shake. Is
like shaking it off.
Right, and remember Drake May, he got tackled, and like his helmet rolled up on him, so he tried to shake it down. And he got pulled by the concussion spotter. So those can be tricky. But, yeah, hopefully not too much of him running this week, leaning on the running backs, and then leaning on those young receivers. This could also be a game. Do we see the Kyle Williams end around? Do we see a Pop Douglas end around if he's healthy? Things like that. I think they lean a little more on the younger players. Let's grab a couple calls before we are joined by Doug Kide. He'll join us coming up to talk more Patriots-Jets and look ahead at the playoff picture. Let's start with RJ on Cape Cod. RJ.
Hey, guys. So I really locked in on that Texans-Chargers game yesterday, and I've been a die-hard Texans guy, like that. I think they're a really strong team. But I got to be honest, I was watching yesterday, and I think it unfolded exactly the way we wanted it to. With C.J. Stroud, I honestly felt like I was watching Jameis Winston a little bit. He loves to throw the ball to the other team. I mean, he could have had 5 picks yesterday. I'm not kidding. And so I think it unfolded really good for the Pats because I would still rather play the Chargers, and now they're in that 7th spot. But just one other team, I'm starting. I had an epiphany this weekend, and this is my last thing real quick, and I want to hear what you guys think. I think the Steelers are a legitimate threat, and I'll tell you why. What would we look at them like if Rodgers came from just Green Bay and went to Pitt? Erase what happened in the Jets. How would we look at that team now? And I want to hear what you guys think.
Thanks for the call, RJ. The one thing I'd say about that is, what was Aaron Rodgers' playoff reputation with the Packers?
Yeah.
Not good. I do think they're a better team than people give them credit for. I'm with the caller on that. Rodgers has a history of failing in the playoffs. About yesterday's game, though, we'll get to this more later. He is absolutely right. Like, yes, okay, so because the Chargers lost, they're now not playing for anything next week against Denver. So Denver has a chance to win against what's likely going to be backups to win the 1 seed.
Did you see Denver on Christmas?
That's true.
They should have lost that game.
They did barely beat backups. I felt for a bit here like the 1 seed is not realistic.
Yeah.
So I was kind of rooting for the Texans because get the Chargers down to that 7 seed. I don't want Buffalo or Houston here wild card weekend. I don't think the Chargers are a terrible team. I'd much rather that indoor Southern California team come up here in the cold, and I just don't think they're as good of a team. I don't. Yeah. Herbert has that history in the playoffs.
Their offensive line is gone, and they lost somebody. Somebody else went down yesterday.
Yeah, so I think I'm with the caller. I know some people were annoyed because they wanted the Chargers to be playing for something next week. Keep the Chargers in that 7th seed. I think that's what's most important for the Patriots.
Yeah, and the Chargers, I don't have it in front of me here, but Justin Herbert, I think, has only won a handful of games on the East Coast in his whole career. Yeah, I don't think he does not win when he goes east. Doesn't matter who the opponent is.
And one of them was last year against that it was the Patriots, and that was week 17 against the Gerard Mayo team. Like that was, remember, we had a show the next day after that.
Yeah, I was at that game too.
We had no rundown. We just took calls of people who were livid. That was an easy show.
It's funny because the Jets are literally in the same situation today. It's if you're watching the Jets is like a mirrored version of of the Patriots this time last year.
Hopefully it goes the same way. Let's grab
That's
one more
true.
call here before the break. Tony in Canada. Tony.
Hey, guys. Morning. Yeah, so in regards to the playoffs, I think that I don't think the Texans, if we could find a way to neutralize their pass rush, I think we match up pretty good. That's the question. The one team I don't want to play is Buffalo because of Josh Allen. That's the only reason. But question for you now. So, yeah, with all the injuries, especially on the offense, question is why or how does McDaniels find a way to get Henderson involved in the passing game? You know, when he first came out, I thought he would be the great replacement for James White. And it doesn't seem like that really has caught on. So how do they get him involved in the passing game? Can they do that? And that's about it. I'll listen to the rest of the show. Thanks, guys. Go Pats. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call, Tony. I agree with on the Texans point. Like, yeah, it's a good matchup. If they can neutralize that pass rush, that's a big if. That's a monster if. On getting Travion Henderson involved in the pass game, he was struggling. It's not just catching the ball in that role. Pass blocking is a huge part of that. Yeah. And that was something he was struggling with earlier in the year. He's been better, but he still has some lapses. I think it was last week he allowed a sack, pretty bad sack. So he's got to get better in pass pro just to be on the field more in those situations. When he is, I think he's been good as a receiver. But there's going to be times where you need him to block, and you can't simply say, well, only call plays where he's out in the route. If you see a blitz coming and you have to check the protection and keep him in, like, you got to count on him to block. So,
yep. And Stevenson's one of the better backs in the league at doing that, and that's probably why he's out there more so in those situations. But I think as Henderson goes through his career, early part of his career, he knows that's something he's going to have to get better at in the offseason and work with Drake May a lot more. Like May was working with the receivers, get the backs out there and just go through whatever drills or whatever need be to improve that aspect of his game to make him more of an all-around back. Because you with that speed and his shiftiness, you get him out in the slot against a linebacker, that's a win every time. So I think he understands that, and he'll get better at it as time goes on.
By the way, Justin Herbert, maybe I'll break this down a little more during the break because Pro Football Reference lets you sort by time zone. He is in the regular season 13-7 in the Eastern time zone.
Really?
So that's not bad. Yeah, if you include
not bad at all.
If you include playoffs, he is 13-8. So 0-1 in the Eastern time zone in the playoffs. I'll break that down more during the break.
Better than I thought. Plus,
we'll talk to Doug Kyde of the Boston Herald coming up next. He'll help us break down this game, get a little more on the Patriots injuries here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub.
for the Boston Herald. Doug, good morning and Merry belated Christmas to you.
Good morning, Alex. Happy holidays to you as well.
So, Doug, you can find Doug on social media at Doug Kide. You dropped this morning a pretty thorough run-through of the Patriots' injuries, who's out, who might step up. Which players do you think, in terms of those who are going to play, who do you think has the biggest opportunity that they wouldn't otherwise to step up, and who will you be watching the closest that maybe we haven't gotten to see a ton this year?
I think the biggest opportunity would probably go to Efton Chisholm, just because he has yet to make his first NFL catch so far. He's returned kicks, but really has not got much of an opportunity at all on offense. Not sure how much he does in this game, because I think obviously he's still got Stephon Diggs. Kyle Williams will be able to step up. You've got perhaps Demario Douglas in a limited role. We'll see how that hamstring looks. But this is really the first opportunity that Chisholm has had to actually play on offense and potentially be able to play a role there. And I'm probably the most excited to see Kyle Williams, see if he can continue that upward trajectory that he's had in recent weeks. Not a ton of catches, but impactful catches that he's made. He's proven to be a big play threat. So we'll see if he can turn some of those like spurts of big plays into something more consistent in this game.
And on the other side of the ball, who do you see stepping up defensively? Do you see Farmer finally, another rookie coming in and kind of making an impact on that defensive line and helping in this run game? Is there anybody on the defensive side that you could see having an impact today?
I'm excited to see what Braden Swinson can do as a pass rusher. Perhaps he takes on a little bit more of a role. He's another guy kind of like Chisholm, where he hasn't played a defensive snap so far this season. He's played on special teams, but hasn't played on defense yet. So maybe he finds a role as a rotational pass rusher, gets 10 or 15 snaps, something like that, and we'll see if he can do something with them. But an increased role for Elijah Ponder as well, another rookie, see what he can do. And Eric Gregory's had some nice moments at defensive tackle. He rises up the depth chart a few spots, perhaps could take on almost like a starting role on defense this week. So lots of guys to be excited about on defense as well.
Were you surprised when the Patriots placed Mac Hollins on IR yesterday, and how do you see them compensating for losing him? Obviously kind of a unique skill set they don't really have elsewhere on the roster.
I was surprised because he finished last week's game, trying to get some more information on that, trying to figure out what exactly happened there. Abdomen, obviously, in general, is kind of a strange injury. So definitely surprised by that. And it's tough because he's really their only receiver over 6 feet. So you lose the height element. You lose the overall size element with him in general because he can be such a good blocker as a wide receiver. He's obviously used sometimes even as like a pseudo tight end in that offense. So I think that in this game, at least, probably see more of those jumbo tight end packages with Thayer Munford on the field, decent amount of 2 tight end sets with Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, which Patriots really have not been that effective or efficient in those sets. So we'll see if they can improve upon that. If Jack Westover can play in this game, he's dealing with the illness. Probably see a decent amount of him as well. So we will still see some of those 3 wide receiver sets, but I think that since they've leaned into it so heavily in the past few weeks anyway, I think they probably try to go a little bit run heavy in this game, or even just pass out of those heavy sets with Munford on the field or 2 tight ends or Westover.
With this team, with the injuries on the offensive line, you're going to have, of course, Campbell's out again and Wilson's out. What does this team do when it comes to depth on the offensive line? We saw them losing guys left and right the last couple of weeks. Is there any way they can add depth to this offensive line before the season closes out? And what are you looking for from this team today with this offensive line as banged up as it is?
I don't see them adding much depth there. I think they've got a relatively deep offensive line, I would say. Like Thayer Munford stepped in and played well coming over from the Browns practice squad. They recently signed Vernon Jaimes off their practice squad. He's a guy who's had some playing experience. But, yeah, it's going to be Vidarian Lowe and Ben Brown back on that left side. And Lowe has played relatively well so far, filling in for Will Campbell. Hasn't played as well as Campbell, but he's gotten the job done. And Ben Brown and Jared Wilson are are kind of interchangeable at this point in their career. I'd say like they've got different skill sets, but you don't see a precipitous drop off when Ben Brown comes in there, which is a good sign right now. And then hopefully you hope that Jared Wilson has more upside and can eventually be a better player there at left guard. But I'm actually pretty curious to see what happens with the Patriots inactives this week. I know it's usually not the biggest topic of conversation, but 6 of those guys are kind of locked in right now with Tommy DeVito, Keyshawn Boutte, Jared Wilson, Kyrus Tonga, Harold Landry, and Robert Spillane. But if it is that other offensive lineman who's the inactive, do you make Caden Wallace inactive? Do you make Marcus Bryant inactive? I might dress Marcus Bryant in this game as a backup offensive tackle just because Morgan Moses and Thayer Munford already got banged up last week. They were limited this week with knee injuries, so maybe you have some extra depth there at offensive tackle. Curious to see what happens there. Maybe even dress both of them and have C.J. Dupree be your final inactive.
Again, we're talking to Doug Codd. He covers the Patriots for the Boston Herald. How much do these injuries change the outlook of this game for you, Doug? I think this is a game, I don't want to speak for you, but a lot of people looked at as, hey, just go into MetLife, take care of business. Does this thing get a little more narrow? Does this make you a little nervous that they're without all these players?
A little bit. I think, is the line still 13.5 at this point? Do you guys know that?
When we printed it out this morning, it was 13.5.
It is, yeah. Okay, so that seems a little bit high, and I know that the Jets are dealing with injuries as well. I know they've got Brady Cook at quarterback and everything, but I don't know. This is a team that's just so banged up. They're still dealing with injuries from last week. You're out five starters on inactives, plus Hollins, plus Williams. Like they're really calling up the reserves for this one, and it feels like they're being pretty cautious with some of these injuries. So I think they still win. But winning by 2 touchdowns is a lot for this one.
Yeah, with the injuries, do you see themselves in a situation, I don't know, like Patriots when they played the Bengals, we saw the Bengals defense was all banged up, but also was a lot of guys with no film. You didn't really know what to expect. Do you see that similar situation for the Patriots over the next 2 weeks with these guys filling in? There's not much film on Efton Chisholm or Kyle Williams or some of these other guys. Do you think it's a chance for them to really have kind of big plays here or there because of the unknown?
Yeah, it certainly could play to their advantage there. Like you mentioned, like Efton Chisholm hasn't played on offense, and he looked good in the preseason. We'll see if he can continue that in regular season. We've yet to see it, but yeah, a guy like Kyle Williams, if he can continue to step up as a route runner and gain some trust with Drake May, not only could that catch some teams by surprise, but it could also pay off in the playoffs. If a guy like Kyle Williams takes a significant leap here in the second half of the season and becomes a legitimate weapon for May in the offense once the postseason rolls around.
And finally here, Doug, again, we're talking to Doug Codd from the Boston Herald. The games yesterday, the Texans beat the Chargers. Do you feel like that was a good outcome for the Patriots? And just how do you view the Patriots postseason outlook at this point?
It's tough. I mean, I think the Texans are kind of a team you don't want to see in the postseason. So they could kind of go on a little bit of a run here potentially. But yeah, so that could wind up being a good thing for the Patriots if the Patriots wind up in that 2 seed and have to play either play the Chargers in the playoffs. That certainly could be a good thing. But yeah, I mean, it's the Chargers are a team that everyone keeps expecting to be better than they are. And I know Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. I know Jim Harbaugh's a good coach, but it just seems like they keep failing themselves year after year after year. So definitely not a team that you wouldn't mind seeing in the postseason.
He is Doug Codd. He covers the Patriots for the Boston Herald. You can find him on social media at Doug Codd. Doug, thank you so much for joining us this morning and enjoy the game today.
Absolutely. Anytime, Alex. Thanks, Jerome.
All right.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. Cerrone had an interesting thought in the show email this week that not a lot of people are talking about. I want to get to that, and then we will go to your calls as well. You want to join us, 617-779-0985 here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Stay tuned for more Sunday Kickoff on the Sports Hub.
The Celtics
Cerrone, I'll let you set up your own take.
No, I was just saying with the success of this team and the turnaround, we all know how these other teams like to purge coaches from these rosters. Could you see any of these Patriots assistant coaches being, up for bigger opportunities and bigger roles this offseason? I know it's kind of we're way early on this, but something I was thinking about last night. Like some of these guys, are they looking around the league and seeing some of these opportunities that might open up for them?
So I look at two guys, really.
Mm-hmm.
One is Ashton Grant, the quarterback's coach. I don't think Josh McDaniels is going anywhere just yet. I talked about this on Friday with Paul Perillo. The way Drake made it just so quickly exceeded expectations. Maybe that gets some attention, but I still think it's got to be another year or two because it's just so rare you see coaches get that third try. But I look at Ashton Grant, the quarterback's coach, like he's somebody who he has some experience now. He's been an NFL coach going back to 2020. He's somebody that could get some looks. And then Thomas Brown, who's been an offensive coordinator, was an interim head coach. He's currently the Patriots tight ends coach and passing game coordinator. I could see him. He should get another OC look. I can't imagine he'd be here for more than a year. That's one I expected coming into the season. And then I guess one more, Todd Downing. Again, another guy with significant experience. You look at what he's done for the Patriots wide receiver room. Does he get an OC shot? So the defensive staff, there'll be other questions to answer there. Where's Terrell Williams at health-wise? Does he come back as the DC? Does that job go to Zach Core? Is it somebody else? So I don't really see anybody on defense, but Ashton Grant, Thomas Brown, and then Todd Downing are the three guys I look at that I could see. They should. Grant and Brown should at least get interviews. Whether or not they get hired away, we'll see. But I would expect those guys' names to come up in interviews.
And with Zach Core, I was thinking about with him, would he go to take an opportunity as a defensive coordinator somewhere, like get that official title and that salary that comes with being a defensive coordinator? Do you see him getting that kind of opportunity? Or does he wait around to see? You know what I'm saying? Like, does he miss the window? Waiting for what's going to happen with Williams, or does he just say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my shot now, and now the opportunities are open in possibly a couple weeks.
Well, I think that might also come down to what the defense looks like in the playoffs.
True.
Because it hasn't looked great in recent weeks.
Yeah.
And so you got to have that performance level with it too, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's grab some calls. Patty in Agawam on Efton Chisholm. Patty.
Hey guys, what's going on this morning?
How you doing?
Good. I'm very excited to see what Efton Chisholm can do. Just because, he hasn't, I don't think he's even had any targets so far this year. So it's, when you're kind of limping towards the end of the finish line like they are, and you got guys that, that get opportunities, you want to see them make the most of their opportunities. So let's see what this kid can do. Maybe he gets open. I'm predicting that he scores a TD today. And I do think that we might get a little bit more passing than you guys are anticipating. And a question for you and Cerrone.
Yeah.
Now, we hear people compare Drake May to Justin Herbert a lot. God, I hope not. Is there a bigger fraud team in the playoffs this year than the Chargers? And it's like, I don't know, Alex, I know you said this about Allen. You think he'll win a Super Bowl, just not with Buffalo. Is Herbert that guy on the Chargers, too? I'll take it off air, guys. Let's go.
Thanks, Patty. I mean, the Chargers are the Chargers. That's it. Yeah, that organization's been that way. It is interesting. So he mentioned, late in the year, you kind of need guys to do this. I don't know why I had this thought, but the Patriots actually played a similar game in 2021. It was late in the year. They were trying to lock up the division. They'd already clinched the playoffs, and they had some guys banged up. Jacoby Myers was hurt. Nelson Aguilar was hurt. So they turn to Christian Wilkinson, who catches 2 touchdowns. I think he had over 100 yards in that game. Stylistically different receiver than Efton Chisholm, but do we get that kind of performance out of him today? He does not have a target yet. Cerrone will answer in a second. I think Vic in Virginia has a similar kind of question, though. Vic.
Yeah, I was just curious with the passing game today. Do you think it'll be more heavy run, like Ramondre gets most of the carries this week, and then Travion just fills in, or do you think they'll be more balanced in the game today?
Thanks for the call. I think the running backs will be relatively balanced, probably leaning a little more on Ramondre. just because Henderson was limited in practice this week, maybe like a 60-40 split. I don't think they're going to pass a ton. I don't think it's going to be like a sneaky big passing game. Just because Josh McDaniels has generally been good about working against those expectations. But I don't know, Cerrone, do you think there's a chance we come out of this and they threw the ball 30 times today?
No, not at all, unless they're losing.
Bigger issues.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case today. What I will say, though, I think if you're running the ball and you're running it well, I think that opens up play action where you're going to have a chance for big plays. Not a lot of attempts, but I think they're going to take their shots and try and, land the haymakers to put the Jets away. And I think the Jets, I think there's going to be a lot of 3-and-outs with that quarterback and their situation right now. I think there's going to be a lot of 3-and-outs and a lot of short field opportunities, field position game where the Patriots are receiving punts at midfield, so they only need a few plays to get in scoring positions. And I think they're going to have a chance to put up points and have big plays, but I don't see them throwing the ball 30, 40 times trying to march their way downfield. I don't think it's going to be necessary.
617-779-0985. We'll get back to your calls in a bit, but first, quick check of the headlines, and then we go around the NFL. Week 17, some big games on tap. 90 seconds, no commercials here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
From the Telfair Type Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Patriots play their final road game of the season today in New Jersey, taking on the New York Jets. With a win, the Patriots could finish the regular season unbeaten on the road. Coverage starts at 10 o'clock right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Patriots have ruled 7 players out for this game. That includes wide receiver Mac Hollins, who was placed on IR yesterday. Defensive tackle Jeremiah Farms gets his roster spot. Meanwhile, running back Travion Henderson is expected to play after starting the week in concussion protocol. Elsewhere around the NFL, a couple of games yesterday. The Texans beat the Chargers 20-16, and the Ravens were all over the Packers 21-14. Looking ahead to today, the big game for Patriots fans is at 4:25, the Eagles and the Bills. If the Patriots beat the Jets, an Eagles win would mean the Patriots have clinched the AFC East. If the Bills beat the Eagles, the division comes down to next week, no matter what the Patriots do today. Meanwhile, the game tonight has the Chicago Bears taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The Bruins lost 4-1 to the Buffalo Sabres yesterday. They're back at it tomorrow against the Calgary Flames. And the Celtics are playing tonight, visiting the Portland Trail Blazers. Coverage of that game starts at 5:30 on our sister station, 105.7 WROR, then joins the Sports Hub after the Patriots postgame wraps up. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today. Winter is here. Don't get caught in the cold. Super Service Today gives your home a full heating system health and safety check, the most thorough in New England, guaranteed. Book now at superservicetoday.com. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update during Patriots pregame.
Get the app.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
Pick a target.
You pick it.
Take your pick.
Pick me. Pick me.
I did not pick. There was no pick.
Pick him up. You pick him up.
Pick.
I pick.
Pick me, pick me, pick me.
Take the teams.
Pick one, jerk.
All right, we got a lot to get to here, including a number of games that are already in the books. Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin behind the glass on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Before we start overall, Cerrone, how do you feel about the NFL trying to monopolize Christmas Day?
Oh man, I think that's the NBA's day, and the gods kind of caught up with them. They had some bad games on Christmas, and I think the NFL should kind of leave that one and let one of these other leagues kind of have a day. Just let them have their day.
They should have been good games on paper, but not a lot of stakes in most of them. We did get some close endings, though. Let's start with the Commanders and Cowboys.
What's good? I'm Josh Johnson, and I play for 14 different teams.
And he played a little bit more on Sunday. Came up short, though. Cowboys win that one 30-23. Is now that they're eliminated from the playoffs, they start winning.
Yep. you kind of predicted that a month ago. So it's kind of funny watching it play out.
The middle game was the Vikings and the Lions.
Dan Campbell ruined my Christmas.
Did Dan Campbell get exposed? Cerrone, is he getting exposed as the Lions fall 23-10, loss eliminated them from the playoffs? He getting exposed without those coordinators?
I think he is, man. I think him jumping in, they showed the stats where the scoring and the yards kind of gone up slightly since he's taken over play calling. But I think he should have just left things alone, man. He kind of panicked, the way he does in the middle of the game, just going for it on fourth down. And it's sad to watch this Lions team window close like that so fast. It's unbelievable.
They're also banged up too. They got to figure that out. They got a lot to figure out. And then the final game on Christmas Day, the Broncos against what was left of the Chiefs.
Oh hell no, they go that horse. I don't mess with horses, bro. Might come over here and throw a tantrum.
Yeah, the Chiefs don't mess with horses, I guess.
You feeling any different about the Broncos after their loss to the Jaguars and then barely getting by Chris Oladokun and the Chiefs?
You know what? This has been who the Broncos are all season. They barely got by the Jets. They have I want to say like 700 games against these bad teams. They've barely gotten by. This is who they've been. But when they play good teams, they kind of get up for them. So this is typical Broncos, all season. So I don't expect any of that to change.
And there was a lot of drooling over Bo Nix after that game. I feel like, at least on the national level, Bo Nix and Drake May have become the opposites of each other. Bo Nix is the anti-Drake May, where Drake May, everybody raves about his talent, but there's the questions about what is he late in games? Can he be clutch? Can he do, this and that? And then Bo Nix, it's like, yeah, all right, that guy, he's fine. He doesn't really have tremendous physical talent, but boy, I heard it factor so many times after that game on Thursday night.
In a weird way, I'm not comparing the two. They're not the same. He's a much better player. This is very similar to the run with Tim Tebow.
So I've compared it to the run with Mac Jones.
Okay,
but
yeah.
That just tells you where we're at with Bo Nix. Let's get to yesterday's games, the Texans and the Chargers.
San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers.
Chargers lose 20-16, so the Broncos clinch the division with that loss. Texans look real scary, Cerrone.
They do at times. It's weird. It's every drive. One drive did like the best team in the NFL. Next drive did like the worst team in the league. I mean, they had two big explosive plays earlier. Like, man, the Chargers are going to get blown out. Then you're watching it like, man, the Chargers are going to win this game. And both teams just showed you who they were at the end. But the Texans, their defense is good, but I got a feeling that Texans offense they're going to collapse, man, in the playoffs. Something doesn't look right. They're not consistent on offense enough for me.
I still think that was a good outcome for the Patriots. The Chargers are, to me, by far the least scary of the wild card teams. Then last night, the Ravens and the Packers.
Final Packer offensive lineman announced during pregame introductions was who?
Jerry Kramer.
No!
So, Derrick Henry, by the way, in this game, 21 carries, 103 yards, 3 touchdowns. In the first half. In the first half, he ends up going for 36, 216, 4 scores as the Ravens win going away 41-24. Actually, a really exciting game for two teams with backup quarterbacks. But if you watched that game last night, you watched one of the greatest in the history of the sport have one of the greatest performances of his career. That was special. And let us not forget, because of the running back rotation or whatever, the Ravens didn't feel like they needed that guy to close out the Patriots last week.
Yeah, and they've done it the last 3 weeks, heading up into the game last. They were splitting carries or whatever. I don't know what it was that got into him, but he went off on the Packers. And maybe it's that Cole playing on the grass or something like that. Is throwback running backs kind of like that stuff, but he went off, and I'm.
Oh no, I know what got into him. He was pissed that they benched him last week and it cost him the game.
Yeah, he went, and he had the fumble, so he was kind of upset about putting the ball on the ground, all those things. He took it out on the Packers yesterday. Unbelievable.
Again, one of the all-time greats in this sport, having an all-time great performance. If you got to witness that yesterday, that was special.
He got his gold jacket yesterday.
That it was awesome. That was, you don't see many guys like that, and I don't think we're ever going to see a running back like that again. Just the way the game is played now. Also, if you're 6'4", 250, and you move like that,
tight end.
Right? They're going to put you tight end. I don't think we'll ever see another Derrick Henry. Let's get to today's games. We start with the lowest total of the week. It's the Steelers and the Browns.
And they won 2 world wars. 2 world wars by doing jumping jacks, push-ups, and sit-ups. 2 world wars.
Total of 34 points. Steelers favored by 3.5 on the road. Remember back in April, Shedeur Sanders said he did not want to be drafted by the Ravens because he wanted to go somewhere he could start. Now the Ravens need him to win. to keep their postseason hopes alive. The Steelers clinch the AFC North with a win if they lose. Sets up a winner-take-all game next week. Does Shedeur Sanders help out the Baltimore Ravens, Cerrone?
I think the Steelers still win this game. I mean, I'm shocked that it's only a 3-point game, but I guess evidently the Steelers have lost to the Browns in 3 straight seasons in Cleveland. So maybe that's a part of it. And no Metcalf. So that's going to be real costly for the Steelers. But I still think they have enough. No Metcalf, no Watt. I still think they have enough unless the Browns to say, let's just ruin their season here. But I expect a low-scoring, close game, but the Steelers win in the end.
They should still be able to win this without him.
Yeah.
I'm still going to pick them, especially knowing what's at stake. You don't want to go.
No, and the Browns are banged up.
Right. You don't want to go into a winner-take-all game on the other side. We've got the Jaguars and the Colts.
What was the plan?
I don't know. I mean, completely nuts.
The Jaguars at 11-4, Colts at 8-7. This would have been a bigger game a couple weeks ago. Could have had massive playoff implications, but the Colts fell off. Now the Jags go in. They're still trying to keep their division hopes alive or they are in the driver's seat, I should say, for the division. 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah, and the Colts, I think, got eliminated last night, if I'm not mistaken. What a drop off for them.
Phillip Rivers was eliminated from the playoffs because the Chargers lost.
Awesome. I got the Jags, and I hope the Jags win big because I am one of those guys in my fantasy championship round, and I need Trevor Lawrence to kind of have himself a day, which he's had the last few weeks. So I got the Jags, and I got the Jags winning big for many reasons.
Jags big. I'm with you. Down in Florida, the 7-8 Buccaneers take on the 6-9 Dolphins.
You should stand corrected. Good morning. False. Great morning. Let's go.
What makes this one great?
Because we're another day closer to death.
So this is another one. We'll see what happens with the Panthers today as well. But trying to set up a winner-take-all game in Week 18, Bucs need a win to have a shot at the NFC South. They're 5.5-point favorites going into Hard Rock.
Yeah, Bucs win this one. Dolphins, they're down to their third-string quarterback. Bucs, they need this badly. I think they're going to be the desperate team, and I think they win this one.
I like Baker Mayfield in the spot. Give me the Bucs to cover and win. We'll get back to Patriots-Jets, but I will tell you 13.5 points is tied with that Broncos-Chiefs game for the largest spread of the week. And ended up sweating that one out, so we'll see here. Still in 1 o'clock, the 5-10 Saints at the 3-12 Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Wait, good job. Yeah. Awesome.
The Saints, 2.5-point favorites. They've actually been playing well in a sneaky big game for the Titans, given a game we'll get to in a little bit.
I think the Saints will win this one. Like you said, they've been playing decent ball, playing inspired ball. But the Titans they've been showing something the last few weeks too. So I think it's going to be a good game, a close game. But I got the Saints winning this one.
I will take the Saints as well. Big game in the NFC. I mentioned the 8-7 Panthers need a win. Well, they're hosting the 12-3 Seattle Seahawks.
What's that bear doing?
The bear.
Panther.
That's Sir Purr, bro.
Who?
Sir Purr.
How you say that? Sir Purr. Sir Purr. Oh, Sir Purr.
Seahawks, 7.5-point favorites, Cerrone.
I think it'd be a close game. It'd be a good game. The Panthers always find a way to keep these games close, even win these type of games. It's the bad opponents that they struggle with. I'm taking the upset, man. Give me the Panthers at home.
I could see the Seahawks winning this. The Panthers are definitely going to cover. The Seahawks have been playing a lot of close games. West Coast team coming east. I think the Panthers can win this. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win it, but this is actually going to be, I think, one of the better games of the week. Final game in the 1 o'clock window, the 7-5 Cardinals at the 5-10 Bengals.
It don't make no sense. It's only my calf.
You take anything for the game?
Yeah. Viagra.
That'll make you cry.
Highest total of the week, 53 points. Bengals, 7.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I need the Cardinals to shut out the Bengals bad because my opponent has Joe Burrow. But I got the Bengals winning this one. I think it'll be close. I think it's going to be a close game. The Cardinals have been playing good football lately, and Brissett has kind of got them going in the right direction a little bit. But I got the Bengals winning this one.
I could see the Cardinals covering that. I could see it, but I think the Bengals win. I'm with you. All right, the Tank Bowl, the 2-13 Giants at the 2-13 Raiders.
Danny who? Danny Woodhead. He's from Chadron State, don't you know? Let's hear it for Danny Woodhead. Where's he from? Chadron State.
I mean, just watching these two teams rule players out left and right all week. One side rules out Max Crosby, the Giants rule guys out, and the Raiders rules guys out. It's been a lot of fun. They're the only two lost teams left in the NFL. The loser of this game most likely wouldn't clinch it, but most likely gets the first overall pick. This game should be on national TV. The Giants are favored by 1.5 to win the game. But Cerrone, let's talk about that. Who's going to be the real winner of this one?
The Raiders would be the real winner of this one. I mean, they had to take their star player and basically throw him out of the facility the other day to keep him off the field. The Raiders will lose this game, so that technically they win this one. The Giants will get the W, but the Raiders will be the real winners out of this one. And look, I'm putting 12 guys in the huddle. I'm kicking it out of bounds on kickoffs. I'm doing it. The league's going to have to go ahead and find me, man. I'm losing this game by every way possible.
A reminder, tanking happens from the front office level up. The coaches and players have no incentive to tank. A reminder on that, as we learned last year very well here when the Patriots were in a similar spot. I think I'm with you. I think the Giants win. I think Tom Brady gets his shot at Fernando Mendoza. And by the way, I just pulled up the announcer schedule. They actually sent the CBSC team to this game. They didn't get the last announcer crew. Like, people are hyped for this one.
Yeah. But I think here's the thing, though. The Raiders are going to get that guy anyway because the Giants and Titans don't need him.
Well, but they can then trade back.
Right? That's right.
So there's the potential haul that comes with it. The other game at 4 o'clock, and this is the one all Patriots fans can and should be watching. We'll talk more about this one coming up as well. The 10-5 Eagles at the 11-4 Bills.
We are what our record says we are, as they say.
At the 50-yard line, you are trespassing. Get off the field.
Get opportunities to win the game.
Security is on its way.
Opportunities to win the game.
So the Patriots, they need a win. Obviously, they have to take care of business. If the Patriots win, and then the Eagles go into Orchard Park and beat the Bills, division championship. That would lock it up. Next week might still be for some seeding, but the Patriots would have their division title. They would have their home playoff game. This line has shifted. I looked last night. The Bills were 1.5-point favorites. It's now a pick'em. Buffalo is a 0.5-point favorite at home against the Eagles. Do the Patriots, if they get the win, Cerrone, do they get the help they need?
Yeah, I think they do. I think the Eagles would be a tough matchup for the Bills because they can take away what the Bills like to do. And look, they're going to give it right back to the Bills. They're going to run the football. They're going to be physical. They're going to battle them in the trenches. And the Eagles, we're looking at them like they're a 500 team, like they've struggled all season. For them to be where they're at now goes to show how good this team is and how fast they can turn it up on somebody. But I got the Eagles on the road beating Buffalo.
I think these teams are kind of the Spider-Man meme. They're the AFC and NFC equivalent of each other. Now, obviously, the Eagles are coming off a championship, but two teams that were viewed as, Super Bowl favorites in their respective conferences that still look good and still flash that high-level ability, but just have not been consistent like they were expected to be coming into the season. One of the areas where the Eagles have been a letdown is the run defense. It hasn't been great at times. So I do like the Bills, but Josh Allen did not look the same in the second half last week after he hurt his foot. Now, maybe a week off, he's feeling better, but that is absolutely something to keep an eye on here down the stretch. But I am going to take the Bills to win this game, and it all comes down to Week 18 in the AFC East. Tonight, the 11-4 Bears at the 11-4 Niners.
He runs at the 50. He runs at the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
Potential number one seed implications for this game, and obviously the Niners still chasing both the Seahawks and the Rams in the NFC West. They do control their own destiny. San Francisco does, with a game against Seattle coming up next week. Meanwhile, the Bears, they've clinched the division, but still looking to help their seeding. They're currently the 2 seed. The Niners, though, 3.5-point favorites at home on Sunday Night Football.
Man, I got the Bears, man. I got the Bears winning this one. There's something about that team. There's something about them that's they might end up one of those teams on that magical run in the NFC. I think the Bears are they're heading in the right direction. Give me Chicago on the road.
I'm going to take the Niners. I think a veteran team must-win game back against the wall. They know what's at stake at home. I think this is going to be a great game. A lot of points. The total's 52.5.
Real quick, would you put your buddy as coach of the year, San Francisco?
Shanahan?
Yeah.
No, because that roster's still, it's not as good as it was, but it's still high. I still think it's Vrabel, Ben Johnson, or Mike McDonald. It's those three. I mean, he's done a good job. He's done a good job, and obviously got the most out of Mac Jones and kept them alive there in the middle of the season. But Vrabel, McDonald, or Ben Johnson to me. I Coach of the Year, too, the way they've done it. It's really the team that improves the most, and we've known the Niners are a good team. So,
yeah, true.
And then finally, tomorrow night, the 11-4 Rams at the 6-9 Falcons.
This one is the Red Stallions.
Rams, again, need that win to keep pace in the NFC West. They are 8.5-point favorites against the Dirty Birds.
Yeah, I hope the Rams win, but I would love Bijan Robinson to give me 25 points tomorrow because he's my running back one of my fantasy team. So I need Robinson to have a good day, but I just need the Rams to win. It doesn't matter.
Veteran team, know they need it against a weaker opponent. Playing indoors, give me the Rams in that one. And that is Week 17 in the National Football League. How does that all impact the Patriots and the playoff picture? We'll break that down more next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
NFL Network right now.
It's too bad. Come on, man. In that situation, you gotta let the players decide these games, and the refs kind of got in the way again. And there was a couple opportunities where third down where the Chargers couldn't get off the field because of a flag, and it got to the point late in the game. Every time it was a third down stop, everybody just stopped and looked around and make sure there was no flags on the field. But they kind of got away with one there. And look, that's the name of the game at this point. You got to kind of expect it and anticipate it.
So that, in part, that penalty helps give the Texans the win. Mm-hmm. As we sit here this morning, the AFC playoff picture, the Broncos are the 1 seed, the Patriots are the 2 seed, then the Jaguars, then the Steelers, and then Bills, Houston, and the Chargers are the wild card teams. Now, not much is going to move in terms of who's in it. The Steelers can wrap up the AFC North today with a win. If they lose, it would be a winner-take-all game with the Ravens next week. Everything else, the other 6 teams are in. So the Colts are eliminated. The Dolphins are eliminated. Like, it's going to be Buffalo, Houston, LA. The question is, do any of those teams, for the Bills and for the Texans, they could still win their respective divisions. Mm-hmm. Right now, the Bills are 11-4. The Texans and the Chargers are 11-5. So things are setting up, and I believe even if the Bills lose, and all 3 of those teams are 11-5, I don't know what would happen with the other teams in the 3-way tiebreaker, but I believe the Chargers are still the 7 seed. Cerrone, is that the best outcome, assuming the Patriots end up in the 2 seed, which is what's most likely at this point? Is that the best outcome for the Patriots the way the playoff picture looks right now?
Probably, yeah. The Chargers are just banged up. They have a lot of issues on the offensive line. Herbert's playing with his left hand is all bandaged up. He's beat up. I mean, it's not affecting his legs or his arm talent, but it's just something else they got to deal with. The Chargers are just a banged up squad at this point. And again, getting them in Foxborough in the cold. I mean, it was cold last year and they lit them up. Different team, different circumstances. I think that's the matchup you probably would want at this point right now. And hopefully the other guys, they knock each other out and you see what's left after that. But I think the Chargers are the draw that they probably would want to see at this point.
I'm with you. And then ideally what you get is one of Buffalo or Houston loses to one of Jacksonville or Pittsburgh. If those 2 teams end up winning the divisions. Yeah. Because then you would get one of those teams going to Denver as the lower seed, and you would get the division winner. If not, then it's probably going to be, assuming the Patriots take care of business on Wild Card Weekend, you'd have the Broncos and the Patriots hosting the Bills and the Texans in whatever order that fits in, and that would be your divisional weekend, unless the Jaguars maybe hang around. Like, this could set up for the Patriots where they get the Chargers and the Jaguars, and then Buffalo, Houston, and Denver all knock each other off, and you would play whoever survives that group of 3 in the AFC Championship if, again, the Patriots can take care of business against the Chargers or Jags. As it stands right now, and by the way, right now it'd be Houston and Jacksonville in that wild card round. As of right now, kind of looks okay. Kind of looks okay for the Patriots. Don't hate the way this looks. I'd rather see Houston win that division, which is still on the table. I don't believe I have the playoff clinching scenarios here. I don't believe Jacksonville can clinch the division this week. No, they would have needed Houston to lose. So that will come down to next week. Those 2 teams do not play each other. The Jaguars play the Titans and the Texans play the Colts. So have to keep an eye on all those games. But I do actually feel like, obviously you want the 1 seed, right? That's what's ideal.
Of course, yes.
Without it, though, assuming the Patriots are in the 2, if things hold like this, like just nobody move.
Don't move.
and it's the NFL, so I'm kidding myself saying that. I actually kind of like how this looks for the Patriots right now.
Would you see a scenario? Be honestly, okay, back during the glory days, during the good years, did it matter who they were playing, or do we just say the team was so good it didn't matter? You just whoever's up is up. Like,
maybe in reality it didn't, but it's what you do this time of year, and it's fun doing this. And you always had teams you would rather play than others.
Yeah, you didn't want to go to certain places. But I think the reason I say that.
So, how much does it matter, do you think?
I think they can beat them all. I think the one team that you worry about, and a caller mentioned it, was Josh Allen. It's not the team so much. He's the other great quarterback in your conference. And I think it's a quarterback league, and if you rank the quarterbacks in the AFC, you'd probably rank the the teams, the best teams in AFC and NFC across the league. And I think Josh Allen is the only player out of all the guys in the AFC that you fear. He's the only one. You don't fear Bo Nix. You don't fear Trevor Lawrence. You don't fear Justin Herbert. Not with C.J. Stroud throwing it to the other team the way he's been doing it lately. You're not really fearing the other guys. Josh Allen is the one guy in the AFC. You're like, man, that's the guy I don't want to play. And I think they can beat anybody else outside. I think the only tough, really, I mean, they're all tough matchups, playoff football. At Denver is the only, the atmosphere in the stadium is the biggest fear outside of Josh Allen, I think, in this playoff picture. But I think they can beat all of these teams. But Josh Allen is the one thing you fear going to this playoffs.
Well, also James Cook and the way their run defenses look. And I know they'll get, Milton Williams back and Roberts playing and all that. But and facing the team a third time scares me.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the Bills. I do think Houston, wherever, might scare me more than having to go to Denver after the last couple of weeks. That pass rush is just, it takes games over. And if Will Campbell's coming back after having not played for a little over a month and Morgan Moses is banged up, I'm not saying the Patriots can't beat Houston. That defense legitimately scares me. I think seeing what Denver's done, you made the point earlier, playing to their opponents. I think playing Houston, even at Gillette, might scare me more at this point than going to Denver.
Yeah, I think what Houston can do, even if you win the game, they've softened you up for the next opponent. Now you're so banged up and beat up going into the next round that you might lose the next round because of the beating you've taken from Houston.
So a lot, again, everybody hold. That'd be great. Probably not going to happen. Slate today will determine a lot. The big one, if the Patriots get the win, the Bills losing to the Eagles would clinch the division for the Patriots. There still is some things at stake for Philadelphia, by the way. They have clinched the division. The Eagles have clinched the division, but they can still move up to the 2 seed. They would need some help, but they're still playing for seeding there in the NFC. So that you're going to get the Eagles today. You're going to get the full team, or at least as full Eagles as you can get in 2025. They've been a little inconsistent. But for that to matter, the Patriots obviously have to win against the Jets, despite being banged up. Let's get more into this matchup next. We'll be back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub and Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub.
No, not at all. He said they were a good offense. Not at all. They haven't had 300 yards of offense since week 8. So I mean, they're not a good offense at all. I mean, they do run the ball. Well, they ran the ball with Justin Fields a lot. Breece Hall is a good player. Mitchell has had his moments, but other than that, they're not a good offense at all.
No, they're not, and they won't have Justin Fields in this game. Breece Hall, since the hits to the passing game kept coming for the Jets, he hasn't been the same. By the way, the Jets earlier this week ruled out Mason Taylor, who is their leading receiver this year with 44 catches. Garrett Wilson leads all wide receivers in catches with 36. He hasn't played a game since, I think, November 9th was his last game.
Yeah.
If we are going to talk about, okay, where could this game get away from the Patriots?
Turnovers.
Well, yes and no. Like, in theory, yes. The Jets have only forced 4 turnovers all year. They don't have an interception. So
that's incredible.
If the Patriots are turning the ball over, that's really bad. That's really bad.
If you're putting the ball on the ground in the run game or something like that, somebody, you're in a pile and it gets hit out, knocked out. Yeah, silly mistakes, missed field goals, shank punts, just a sloppy performance. Flags on third down, holding calls, bringing back big plays, face masks, just playing sloppy football against a team they're just playing ball, just out there enjoying this Sunday afternoon, playing football. Just bad contain on Breece Hall. He turns the corner and there he goes. I know I need Breece Hall to have a decent game. Another guy to have on my fantasy team, but I don't think he's going to have a big monster game here. And I think what could happen is the Patriots go up big against this team, sit back in coverage, and the Jets just kind of pile up yards late in this game. But I don't see them being effective early in this game. I think the second half of this football game is going to have a real preseason vibe to it.
So 2 things I'm worried about, right? I don't want to let the Patriots leave the door open outside of just their own miscues, like you mentioned. A.D. Mitchell did kind of get the better of Christian Gonzalez in the last matchup, got open a few times. He just kept dropping the ball. Mm-hmm. So you can't count on that every time. I'm looking forward to that rematch and seeing if Gonzalez has a big bounce back. The one area the Jets continue to be good, even as they've struggled. They are the best kick return team in the league. Mm-hmm. And we know what the Patriots kickoff return unit has been. So maybe they just send the ball out of the end zone for a touchback, but you can't be gifting the Jets short fields or even points on the kickoff. That's the one area I'm worried. Let's get some more on this matchup and other things. Go to the phones. Paul in Andover's been holding on. Paul.
Hey, Happy New Year, guys.
Hey.
I've been thinking that May looks like John Elway for a long time since I first saw him here. And I was watching the documentary on Netflix last night, and about a quarter of the way into it, he rolls to his right in a scramble and just throws this laid-out fingertip catch 60 yards to his receiver. And it could have been May, And one other little short observation. I've seen in the columns that they've given them a nickname, the teammates, and it looks like Drake, May, but I'm not sure how it's how they're pronouncing
Drake, May.
Okay. And, I think they should be more positive and call him Drake Can. Okay, guys? Have a good day.
All right, thanks. What was that, Drake Can?
Yeah, not Drake May. Drake Can.
Oh, okay. I think Maz made that joke on Twitter earlier this year. What was it? It's not Drake May, it's Drake Is or Drake Will or something like that. Drake May, John Elway, Cerrone, you see it?
John Elway, the one guy I always said reminded me of John Elway was Pat Mahomes. The knees, the shape, the size, the way he throws the ball, the way he runs. I thought Pat Mahomes, to me, was the rebirth of John Elway in every possible way.
Randy in Providence on the Mac Hollins injury. Randy.
Hey, I woke up a little late this morning, and you might have mentioned it right off the bat, but the Mac Hollins injury, not for today so much, and probably not for next week, but going into the playoffs, I think that's a big loss for us. He's kind of moving around, doing a lot of different things on the offense, not just catches, but blocking and the run game. I think that's going to be a real problem for us. What do you think about that?
Thanks for calling, Randy. We did talk about it a little bit earlier. If you want to check it out, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, wherever you get your podcast. It's also available on the Sports Hub YouTube page. But, yeah, it's a sneaky big loss. Or maybe not even sneaky. Yeah. I thought maybe people wouldn't recognize as much as they did, but they have. A guy that Drake May trusts, a guy that was coming up big in big situations, third downs, and also really their only true size factor at the wide receiver position. So we talked about this earlier. Does this mean, people point to Afton Chisholm or Kyle Williams playing a bigger role, and I think they'll both fill in some ways. I also think Austin Hooper is going to have more opportunities now. Matt, anytime you're talking about 3 or 4 players having to replace one guy, it's a big loss.
Yeah, and my guy, you mentioned Austin Hooper. I think Austin Hooper, who's been, at times, he's been a good player in this league. He's had his moments. And I think he's a veteran guy for them that's going to come through. I just think now, like you said, you would sneaky kind of put Mac Hollins in as that and playing that kind of tight end role. Now the element of surprise is gone on what he's going to be, because if it's Austin Hooper, he's a tight end by trait, and I think he's going to be the guy that Drake may trust. A big body, big target, good hands, and can help in the run game. So I think it's time for Austin Hooper to kind of turn back the clock a little bit and be more involved in this offense.
Let's grab one more call. John in Plymouth on the playoff picture. John.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, guys. I was just thinking about different scenarios for the Patriots. Just from a pure entertainment value, send me to Denver. Send me to Denver for the AFC Championship game. Opportunity to exorcise the demons from the House of Horrors that is Mile High Stadium, dating back to 1986 playoffs, which, by the way, if you look back on history, that's a really, really crazy AFC playoff history there. When you got Cleveland and the Jets double overtime, then you get Cleveland, Denver. Really, really great playoffs scenario. So send me to Denver. I want to exercise the demons. And again, if the Patriots do make the Super Bowl, it would be the first time in 40 years, dating back to 1985, when they had to win 3 games to make the big game. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, John. That's right. They never made it from the wild card with Brady. They always had that bye. It's the best matchup. I think that's the best matchup in the AFC. I know a lot of people probably want to see the Bills. I think when you look at what those teams have been through this year, where they've come from, Drake May, Bo Nix, same draft class, Mike Vrabel and Sean Payton's an excellent coaching matchup. That Broncos defense against this Patriots offense, I just think there's so much juice there. Buffalo, Denver is a good matchup as well. Obviously, Patriots-Bills would be fun, the 3-match, but I think Patriots-Broncos is the best matchup in the AFC.
You could potentially have a Final Four with 3 guys from the same class. Caleb Williams out in Chicago with Drake May and Bo Nix. Jaden Daniels stays healthy. Who knows where Washington is now? And we're looking at it differently, but the draft class might have been something when it comes to quarterbacks, when it impacting winning and losing. And I think that's a good thing for the league. And I think the league would love to see another class of quarterbacks. And all the owners would be shaking hands like, we're good to go now for another 10, 15 more years with these quarterbacks.
One more thing I meant to ask you before we wrap it up here. I wanted to get to it earlier. MVP still open for you? Drake may have a chance to make a case today, or is Stafford won it?
Stafford he's probably leading the way now. But I think, look, with 2 games left, anything can happen unless guys have made up their minds already and doesn't matter going forward. I mean, Drake May goes out there and he gets 8 touchdowns over the next 2 games, and Stafford twists an ankle or something like that. Anything can happen. But I think guys have made up their minds. If you're a Stafford guy, you're a Stafford guy. If you're Drake May, you're Drake May. And me personally, I think it's May. He's done the most with the least. He's turned his team around already. Expectations were really low for this team, but to be where they're at now, that's an MVP effort. And Stafford, they were predicted to be good. Once they added Devontae Adams, you knew they were going to be explosive. But Drake May, no one saw this coming at all. And for them to be this good for this long, I got to give it to the kid.
We'll wrap it up next with game picks here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Stay tuned for more Sunday Kickoff on the Sports Hub.
Celebrate New Year.
Patriots pregame coming up next with Jim Murray and Chris Gasper. They'll take you up to Bob and Zoe, who have the call at 1. And then Joe Murray and Mark Dendero will be in here for postgame. And then after that, the Celtics will be here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. So we've got a full day coming up. We'll also be back next week to wrap up the regular season. Mike Reese in his Sunday notes this morning noted that if the Patriots and Broncos are both still vying for the number 1 playoff seed, it could be in play that they want the game. The league wants the games at the same time. Broncos aren't going to kick off at whatever would be 10, 11 a.m. local. So that could be a 4:25 game. Something to watch for this week. The schedule will be out after. The full league schedule will be out after today's slate wraps up. Let's make some picks. Cerrone, Patriots-Jets. Patriots significantly shorthanded, still 13.5-point favorites. Who you got?
I got the Patriots in this one, kind of big, like around 31-14 or something like that. I think they get up big early, and I think the Jets trying to fight to stay in, and I think that's when they get sloppy, the turnovers, interceptions, and stuff like that. So give me the Patriots 31-14.
I think the Patriots get up, start cruising. Jets maybe pile it up a little bit late in garbage time. I'm going to give the Jets a backdoor cover. I'm going to say 27-14 Patriots, which I think was the score last time. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I'm 2 27-14 Patriots-Jets games this year. Give me 27-14 Patriots. I think they get up early. Maybe Brady Cook has like a late garbage time touchdown in him.
Hopefully it's Breece Hall. Hopefully
the Jets grab the backdoor cover if he's even still playing. Jets might start resting guys because again, we've talked about how banged up the Patriots are, and it's absolutely relevant. The Jets will be without Mason Taylor, who they've ruled out. He leads the team with 44 catches. Next on the team is Garrett Wilson with 36. He hasn't caught a ball since the first week in November. Next up in catches is Breece Hall. So there you go, Cerrone, with 34 on the year. So he will be their leading active receiver today. Breece Hall, 34 catches on the year. And then, oh, by the way, on defense, they've ruled out Will McDonald, who leads the team with 8 sacks. Nobody else has more than 4. The guy in third place, they traded. Oh, no, sorry, it's Quincy Williams, not Quinnen. Quinnen Williams had 1. Quincy Williams is 3.5. They did not trade Quincy Williams, but
some fine tanking right there.
You get the they are going to be watching that Giants Raiders game very closely because they're still in the mix at 3-12. Who you got in that? We did it earlier, but who you got in that one again?
Which one? The Giants. I got the Giants winning and the Raiders doing everything possible.
Game of the day. Well, actually, one more pick for you. Do the Patriots win the division today?
Yes, I think the Eagles win. I think the Eagles beat Buffalo. The Patriots win the division. It'd be a good, a good morale boost and a good thing for them to reach this season. I think it'd be cool for the fans to see your team back on top. I think they do win a division, and I think it's gonna be a pretty decent day for the Patriots. I think statistically, I'm saying May is can boost his MVP numbers or anything like that, but I can see Hunter Henry having a decent day. I can see Williams and Efton Chisholm getting some numbers up, so it'll be a good game to watch. But I think they blow this team out early.
Garvin, who you got? Patriots, Jets, and do the Patriots win the division today?
Patriots win the division today. Patriots roll 35-10. I don't see the Jets being able to get up and down the field on this team. Do we see the vaunted Jack Westover package today? I'm just wondering who will we be talking about going, they should have been going in this guy earlier. I am hoping that Kyle Williams can step up for this team today and make life a little easier for Drake May. But yeah, 30 points, 35 points. I think the Patriots are going to trounce this Jets team that's ready for warm weather at this point and going on vacation.
Cancun on 3, right?
1, 2, 3, Cancun. Absolutely.
No Cancun done for us anytime soon. We will be back next week. Same time, same place, 10 a.m., 8 a.m. I should know that. 8 to 10. Here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. If you missed any of this show, which did start at 8 a.m., you can find it on the Sports Hub YouTube page. Also, if you get your podcast, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. I will be back. I'll be back in like half an hour with Gasper and Murray on Patriots pregame. I will then be back tomorrow morning.
We're doing the morning show tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Garvin, are you with me tomorrow?
Yeah,
you produce tomorrow?
I've been doing the morning show since, and I'll be here every day, guys.
Mark Dendero on the morning show tomorrow, so we'll have reactions there. Matt Dolph and I will record an episode of the Patriots Hub podcast tonight, and then I'll have to sit down with David Andrews tomorrow as well, so you can check that out, Patriots Hub podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, Matt and I will have plenty of coverage coming up on 98.5 The Sports Hub, not just on Patriots-Jets, but we'll keep you posted on what happens with the division and what is at stake for the playoffs and the Patriots next week. Any potential scheduling updates as well. Again, that game for next week still technically TBD. We'll see if it gets 1 o'clock or 4:25. There are a couple games on Saturday, but I don't see them putting Patriots-Dolphins in a standalone window. But we will see. Until the next one, for Ryan Garvin, for Cerrone Battle, I'm Alex Barth. Thanks so much for tuning in. Patriots pregame, Jim Murray, Chris Gasper, coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Enjoy the games today, everybody.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub.